Hi guys, it's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do this week's Facebook card reveals for you all. So, if you have been drawn to card 1, we're going into the energy of flower. And it just sort of says here on the bottom, be honest with yourself. I think sometimes this can be really hard because sometimes we all put quite a lot of pressure, quite a lot of expectation upon ourselves to be the best that we can be, or to deliver to the best of our capabilities. So sometimes if things have to sort of change or don't always go completely according to plan, it can be quite sort of fearful to sort of actually be real, to be honest, and to think maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe I need to sort of just rethink or reschedule something. So be honest with yourself is all about going deep within. So like the flower, this is about opening up internally with yourself. It's about this internal kind of blossoming and revealing things. If you know that you are kind of making do or compromising or almost sort of placing this pressure upon yourself that something is going to improve, something is going to get better of its own accord, and maybe it's not going to, then keep it real. Be open and honest enough with yourself to make these changes, to make these adaptations in whatever context you need to. Now, these could be in quite small, minor ways, or these could be in sort of maybe slightly more bigger and more exaggerated ways. I had a reading yesterday with Amy Michelle, who is a fantastic reader. I would highly recommend her. And something that I had been worrying about, and I'd been sort of putting quite a lot of pressure upon myself with, hoping or thinking, oh, it's going to improve, it's going to get better, I'm not going to have to worry about this too much. I literally got my ass kicked because she brought through my granddad, and he basically said, there's a situation here, you need to look at it, you need to address it, it's not going to go away of its own accord. And almost like, don't be so naive as to think that. So sometimes we have to invest in ourselves, and it was a proper case of tough love yesterday coming in for me, but it's what I needed to hear. And as soon as that piece of information was given, I was unable to make some immediate changes, which has just felt like a little bit of a weight being released. So it was required, it was needed to be done, and sometimes we have to do that. So in whatever sort of way you maybe need to open up to yourself at the moment, this is being emphasized, this is being kind of encouraged. Definitely there's a real emphasis on that happening at the moment. So be honest with yourself, and really go into those energy lines. And if you know something needs attention, if you know that you need to maybe change a behavior in order to improve something, acknowledge it and do it. Basically, you owe yourself that. Okay, now, as I'm moving into card 2, we're going into the energy of red, and it just sort of says here, forgive. Now, I see this heavily linking in with energies of love, and it's a card of reflection. This is a lot about kind of maybe reflecting on past experiences, past connections, past people that you may have held in your life. This comes in a lot when there's maybe some grieving that's going on. So some of you maybe are missing loved ones at the moment. There could be some important dates, birthdays, anniversaries, connections that remind you of somebody very close or very dear to you. And forgive, it's about not sort of holding on to anything that can't be changed. Sometimes we go through things in our life and it feels a little bit unfamiliar, it feels a little bit weird, and sometimes we look back with hindsight and we think, oh God, I wished I did this differently, or I wished I did that differently, but we can't change those things. So this is giving yourself enough permission to forgive, almost again internally, the things that perhaps looking back now you feel you could have done different, or you perhaps should have done different, or whatever. It's making peace with stuff, and it's celebrating the connections, it's celebrating all the great times you got to have with a physical person, or the connections that you hold in your life. It's not punishing yourself, it's not beating yourself up unnecessarily, and it's knowing that you've done your best for people, it's knowing that you've done right for people. You might not always be perfect, the energy they brought to the table might not have always been perfect, but within that setup there were some great adventures, there were some great memories, and it's holding on to those things rather than sort of punishing yourself with all these after bits and pieces. That's where it's really been heightened with this card. So don't sort of punish through things that cannot be changed or cannot be sort of rectified. The red as well from the sort of chakra sense is wanting to come in and ground and earth the energy. So maybe some of you at the moment emotionally are feeling quite ungrounded, and maybe there's a lot of self-reflection, maybe there's a lot of analysing, and just maybe revisiting pockets of the past. And instead of it being a happy, positive experience, maybe you're almost, again, self-punishing, and it's forgiving yourself if you need to, but it's letting it go. There's an emphasis on that. So I hope you can make sense of this card. It's quite an interesting one when that shows. Now then, as we're going into the final card, if you've been drawn to card 3, we're going into Bitch Fire. This makes me laugh, this one. And it just sort of says here, stand up for yourself. This is all about investing, believing, feeding back into your energy lines. If somebody has said that you're incapable, or you're not worthy, or you're not good enough, stand up, show up, and don't give up, you know. Ultimately, this is about celebrating your unique quirkiness, your unique magic and power, and the essence of what makes you special, the essence of what makes your spirit you. Okay, so this is not about sort of dimming your light to accommodate other people. This is keeping life on your terms. It is, like I say, standing up for your belief systems, for yourself, standing up for what you believe in. Okay, I was told many years ago by certain people, you're a good card reader, but that's all you ever amount to, that's all you'll ever be. I was held back and limited by quite a lot of other people's thoughts, feelings and fears. And if I'd have believed all of that stuff, or if I'd have bought into that theory or that idea of something, I wouldn't have reached this part of my journey. I wouldn't have reached this part of where I am now. Certainly wouldn't be doing at all. So, you know, sometimes we have to shelve other people's thoughts and feelings about us and what they sort of see us to be. And actually this is about sort of just celebrating and continuing to invest in what you know you're about, what you know you're capable of, and what you can go on to sort of receive from the universe. Okay, so this is a really important time of personal growth. This is a really important time of celebration from within. And if you're not getting it from an external place, actually that doesn't matter. That's not so important. Give yourself that credibility, give yourself that recognition, recognize your own truth, your own magic and your own worth. And when you do that, that is when you will access something of higher power, of higher potential. So really exciting times, you know, once you can own and really embrace the best of who you are. It's so hard to give the best of yourself freely to another person if you're not actually in tune with what that is in the first place. So there's an emphasis on identifying with your deeper spirit at the moment and making peace with that and celebrating that ultimately. From you, for you. That's the message I get with this card. So I'm going to leave it with you. Hope it makes sense. Stay safe, stay well, have a fantastic week ahead, guys. I will look forward to catching up with some of you lovelies this week on Zoom and Facebook video chat. And also I'll be seeing some of you lovelies on Sunday in Martok for one-to-one readings. Obviously that day is now fully booked, but, you know, looking forward to seeing you if you're coming to that. And of course, Hensridge, the next part of my Spirit Magic tour, on Saturday night. Some tickets are still available, so if you want to come along and you haven't purchased a ticket yet, grab a last minute ticket. You know, there's still time to get involved, and it'd be great to see some of you lovelies there. Really excited, really looking forward to it. Don't forget, Amy Michelle will be there having her stall, her Nemesis crystals. So gorgeous crystals will be available to purchase there as well. I'll have my books and CDs available, so it's going to be a fantastic night. Really excited. I know Spirit are already building up for it, so just can't wait. So see some of you lovelies very soon, and catch up soon. Bye for now.